The first day. The autumn morning brought a gentle breeze through the streets of Seattle as Olivia Mitchell stood before the gleaming headquarters of Sterling Technologies. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass entrance, showing a young woman with determined brown eyes and neatly styled auburn hair. She wore her best navy blazer, purchased just last week from her savings. At 28 years old, she had worked tirelessly to reach this moment. Olivia had spent the last 6 years juggling 2 jobs while completing her business degree at night school. She had cleaned offices at dawn, served tables during lunch hours, and studied until midnight. Her mother, a single parent who raised 3 children on a nurse's salary, had taught her that hard work could open any door. Today, Olivia hoped that lesson would prove true. Sterling Technologies occupied 40 floors of the newest skyscraper in downtown Seattle. The company had revolutionized cloud computing under the leadership of its founder, Vincent Sterling. He had built the empire from nothing, starting in a garage at age 22. Now, at 36, he was worth billions and had a reputation that made potential employees nervous. The lobby sparkled with modern design. Olivia's shoes clicked against the polished floor as she approached the security desk. The guard checked her identification and directed her to the executive elevators. Her heart raced as she ascended to the 40th floor, where Vincent Sterling's office occupied the entire western corner of the building. Meeting the legend. A professional woman in her 50s greeted Olivia in the reception area. Her name tag read Margaret Chen, and her warm smile eased some of Olivia's tension. Margaret had been with the company for 15 years and served as the office manager. "You must be Olivia Mitchell," Margaret said kindly. "Welcome to Sterling Technologies. Mr. Sterling is expecting you." Margaret led her through an open workspace where dozens of employees typed at computers and spoke in hushed tones. Everyone seemed focused and slightly tense. They reached a set of double doors made of frosted glass. Through them, Olivia could see the outline of a tall figure standing near floor-to-ceiling windows. The office was massive. One wall was entirely glass, offering a breathtaking view of the city and Puget Sound beyond. The furniture was minimalist but clearly expensive. Behind a large desk sat multiple monitors displaying graphs and data streams. The man standing at the window turned as they entered. Vincent Sterling was taller than she expected, perhaps 6 feet 3 inches. He wore a charcoal suit that fit him perfectly, and his dark hair was styled in a way that looked effortless but probably required thought. His eyes were a striking shade of blue-gray, and they studied her with an intensity that made her want to look away. But Olivia held his gaze, remembering her mother's advice to never show fear. "Miss Mitchell," Vincent said, his voice deep and measured. "Thank you, Margaret." Margaret left, closing the doors behind her. Olivia stood straighter, refusing to be intimidated by the impressive surroundings or the man before her. "Please, sit," Vincent gestured to a chair across from his desk. He moved to his own seat, and the interview began. Standing her ground. Vincent did not waste time with pleasantries. He asked about her education, questioning why it took her 6 years to complete a 4-year degree. He wanted to know about her work experience, suggesting that serving tables and cleaning offices hardly prepared someone for the demands of his position. "I had 47 applicants for this position," Vincent said, leaning back in his chair. "Most had degrees from prestigious universities. Some had years of experience at major corporations. Why should I choose someone who worked in restaurants?" Olivia felt her temper rise but kept her voice calm. Those other candidates probably had parents who paid for their education. They likely never worried about rent or wondered if they could afford textbooks. "I understand the value of every dollar because I earned every one of them." She leaned forward slightly. "You want to know what cleaning offices taught me? I learned that details matter. I learned to show up on time every single day, no matter how tired I was. Serving tables taught me to handle difficult people with grace and to think quickly under pressure. Those experiences made me stronger than any expensive degree could." Vincent's expression remained neutral, but something flickered in his eyes. And if I am difficult to work with? If I demand long hours and perfection? Then I will rise to meet those demands, Olivia replied without hesitation. I did not come this far to give up when things get challenging. I have handled demanding situations before. I can handle you. The silence that followed felt heavy. Vincent studied her face as if trying to see beyond her words. Then, unexpectedly, the corner of his mouth lifted in the smallest hint of a smile. You are hired, he said simply. Start tomorrow morning at 7. Olivia blinked, surprised by the sudden decision. Just like that? Just like that, Vincent confirmed, standing to indicate the meeting was over. I have had 6 assistants in the past 8 months. They all looked perfect on paper, but they could not handle the pressure. You are different. You have fire in you. I need someone who will push back when necessary. The beginning of something unexpected. As Olivia rode the elevator down, her mind raced with excitement and nervousness. She had gotten the job, but Vincent Sterling's intensity was unlike anything she had encountered before. The way he looked at her made something flutter in her chest, though she pushed the feeling aside. He was her boss, nothing more. What Olivia did not know was that Vincent stood at his window, watching the street below until he saw her exit the building. For the first time in months, he felt genuinely interested in something beyond work. There was something about Olivia Mitchell's determination and spirit that intrigued him in ways he did not yet understand. 3 months later. The morning sun painted golden streaks across Vincent's office as Olivia placed his coffee on the desk. 3 months had transformed their working relationship into something neither of them had anticipated. The initial tension had evolved into a comfortable rhythm filled with professional respect and something deeper that neither dared to name. Olivia had proven herself invaluable. She anticipated Vincent's needs before he voiced them, organized his chaotic schedule with precision, and most surprisingly, challenged his decisions when she believed he was wrong. She had compiled reports that impressed board members, negotiated with vendors to save the company thousands, and handled crisis situations with remarkable calm. Vincent found himself inventing reasons to call her into his office. Sometimes he needed her opinion on a presentation. Other times he wanted her thoughts on a business strategy. Mostly, he just wanted to hear her voice and see her smile. He noticed everything about her now, the way she hummed softly when she was focused, how she always kept a small plant on her desk that she talked to during lunch breaks, the sound of her laughter when something genuinely amused her. Their colleagues had noticed the shift too. Vincent smiled more often. He stayed later at the office but seemed energized rather than drained. He asked about employee concerns and actually listened to the answers. Margaret commented that Olivia had accomplished what no one else could. She had made Vincent Sterling human again. But beneath the professional efficiency and friendly banter, tension simmered. Olivia caught herself staring at Vincent during meetings, admiring the way his mind worked through complex problems. She noticed how his tie was always slightly loose by afternoon, how he ran his fingers through his hair when he was thinking, how his rare genuine smiles transformed his entire face. Vincent struggled with feelings he had not experienced in years. Every morning, he arrived early just to see Olivia walk through the door. He memorized her coffee order and made sure the break room was always stocked with her favorite tea. When she worked late, he ordered dinner for both of them, claiming he needed to eat anyway. They would share meals across his desk, talking about everything from technology trends to their favorite books. The invitation. The afternoon started like any other Tuesday. Olivia was reviewing contracts at her desk outside Vincent's office when Derek Patterson approached. Derek worked in the finance department, known for his charm and confident demeanor. He was handsome in a conventional way, with perfectly styled blonde hair and a smile that showed off expensive dental work. "Hey, Olivia," Derek said, leaning casually against her desk. "Got a minute?" Olivia looked up from her work, polite but focused. "Sure, what do you need?" "Actually, I wanted to ask you something personal," Derek continued, his confidence evident. There is this new steakhouse that opened downtown. The reviews are incredible, and I managed to snag a reservation for Friday night. I was hoping you would join me. Dinner, just the two of us. What do you say? The invitation caught Olivia off guard. She had been so consumed with work and her confusing feelings about Vincent that she had not thought about dating. She opened her mouth to respond, unsure what her answer would be. Before she could speak, she felt a presence behind her. The air seemed to shift, becoming charged with sudden tension. Vincent stood there, his expression controlled but his jaw tight. His eyes held something dangerous and intense. "Mitchell," Vincent said, his voice clipped and colder than it had been in months. "I need you to prepare the Henderson files immediately. The merger negotiations have been moved up. We have a conference call with their team tonight at 8. Olivia turned in her chair, confused. "Sir, I just confirmed with their office this morning. The call is scheduled for Thursday afternoon." "Plans changed," Vincent said tersely. "They want to accelerate the timeline. You need to review all documentation and prepare summaries for each division. It will take several hours." He shifted his attention to Derek, and his expression hardened. "Patterson, I am sure you understand that business takes priority. Perhaps you should focus on the quarterly reports that were due on my desk yesterday." Derek's confident smile faltered as he looked between Olivia and Vincent. The temperature in the room seemed to have dropped 10 degrees. "Of course, Mr. Sterling. Olivia, maybe another time." He retreated toward the elevators quickly, clearly sensing the tension he did not fully understand. The confrontation. As soon as Derek was out of sight, Olivia stood up, her hands gripping the edge of her desk. Her heart pounded with a mixture of confusion and anger. What was that about? "I told you," Vincent said, already walking toward his office. "The Henderson call was moved up. We have work to do." "No," Olivia said firmly, following him and closing his office door behind them. "The Henderson call was not moved up. I just spoke with their assistant an hour ago. Everything is still on schedule for Thursday." She crossed her arms, her eyes flashing with emotion. "You lied. You deliberately interrupted Derek's invitation. You had no right to do that." Vincent turned to face her, and for the first time since she had known him, his carefully maintained control seemed to crack. His hands clenched at his sides, and a muscle jumped in his jaw. "Patterson is not right for you." "Excuse me?" Olivia's voice rose despite her efforts to stay calm. "You do not get to decide who is right for me. You are my boss, Vincent, not my keeper." "I know exactly what I am," Vincent said, his voice rough with emotion. "And I know exactly what Derek Patterson is. He goes through women like most people change their clothes. Last month he dated someone from accounting. The month before that, it was an intern from legal. You deserve better than being another name on his list." Olivia stepped closer to him, her own emotions bubbling to the surface. "Even if that is true, you had no right to interfere. If I want to have dinner with Derek or anyone else, that is my decision to make. You cannot just swoop in and make choices for me." "You are absolutely right," Vincent admitted, running his hand through his hair in frustration. "I had no right. I should apologize and tell you to call him back and accept his invitation." "Yes, you should," Olivia agreed, but something in his tone made her pause. Her voice softened slightly. "So why are you not doing that?" Vincent looked at her, and the raw honesty in his eyes took her breath away. "Because I cannot. Because the thought of you sitting across from him, smiling at him, letting him make you laugh, it makes me feel like I am losing my mind." The air between them crackled with electricity. Olivia's heart hammered against her ribs as she searched his face. "Vincent, what are you saying?" He closed the distance between them, stopping just inches away. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. I am saying that I have not been able to think straight since the day you walked into my office. I am saying that you have become the best part of my day, and the thought of someone else taking you to dinner makes me want to break things." Olivia felt her breath catch. She had imagined this moment in her private thoughts but never believed it would actually happen. "This is complicated." "I know," Vincent said softly. "I know all the reasons this is impossible. But that does not change how I feel." The confession hung in the air between them, changing everything they thought they knew about their relationship. The confession. Olivia stood frozen, her heart racing as Vincent's words echoed in the quiet office. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the room, and the city sounds far below seemed distant and unreal. She had imagined hearing these words from him countless times during sleepless nights, but now that the moment was here, she felt overwhelmed. "Vincent," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "You cannot just say things like that." "Why not?" he asked, his blue-gray eyes searching her face with desperate intensity. "Because it is the truth. Because I have spent 3 months trying to convince myself that what I feel for you is just professional respect or admiration. But it is not. It is so much more than that." He took a shaky breath, and Olivia realized this powerful man was actually nervous. "Every morning, I get to the office early just so I can be here when you arrive. I memorize the things you say because I want to understand how your mind works. When you laugh at something, it feels like the sun breaking through clouds. And when you challenged me during that board meeting last month, defending your position with such passion and intelligence, I fell even harder." Olivia felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. She had been so careful to hide her own feelings, convinced that they were one-sided and inappropriate. Hearing Vincent express emotions that mirrored her own left her feeling exposed and vulnerable. "This changes everything," she said softly, wrapping her arms around herself as if trying to hold her emotions in check. "We work together. You are my boss. There are rules about this kind of thing." "I know," Vincent acknowledged, his voice rough with emotion. "I have thought about all of it. The company policies, the potential complications, what people might say. I have listed every reason why this is a terrible idea. But none of it matters when I look at you." Her truth. Olivia turned away from him, walking to the window to stare out at the city. The view was breathtaking, but she barely saw it. Her mind raced with conflicting thoughts and feelings. She had worked so hard to get here, to build a career and prove herself. Getting involved with her boss could jeopardize everything she had achieved. But there was another truth she could no longer deny. A truth that had been growing in her heart since that first day when Vincent smiled at her determination. She had fallen for him too, despite every logical reason not to. "You think this is only difficult for you?" Olivia said quietly, still facing the window. "Do you have any idea how hard it has been for me these past 3 months? Watching you every day, working beside you, pretending that my heart does not race when you smile at me?" She heard Vincent move closer behind her, though he did not touch her. "Olivia. I lie awake at night thinking about you," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "I notice everything. The way you loosen your tie when you are stressed. How you tap your pen twice before signing important documents. The sound of your laugh when something genuinely amuses you, which is rare and precious. I have memorized all of it." She finally turned to face him, and the tears she had been holding back slipped down her cheeks. "But I also think about my mother, who raised 3 kids alone and taught me that I could achieve anything if I worked hard enough. I think about all the nights I stayed up studying, all the double shifts I worked, all the sacrifices I made to get here. And I am terrified that this could destroy everything." Vincent reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. When she did not move, he gently wiped the tears from her cheeks with his thumbs. His touch was tender, reverent, as if she was something precious and fragile. "I would never let that happen," he said firmly. "Your career, your dreams, everything you have worked for, they matter to me. If you want to walk away from us, I will respect that. I will never hold it against you or let it affect your position here. And if I do not want to walk away? Olivia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Taking the leap. Vincent's breath caught. He searched her eyes, looking for certainty in her expression. Then we figure it out together. But Olivia, I need you to be sure. I need you to want this as much as I do, not because you feel pressured or obligated. Olivia thought about Derek's invitation, about how her immediate reaction had not been interest but rather a vague sense of going through expected motions. She thought about how Vincent's intervention, though inappropriate, had secretly relieved her. She did not want to have dinner with Derek. She had not wanted to have dinner with anyone except the man standing before her. I am terrified, she admitted honestly. I am scared of what people will think, of how this might affect my work, of getting hurt. But I am more scared of pretending I do not feel this way. Of watching you from a distance and wondering what might have been. She reached up and placed her hand over his heart, feeling it beat rapidly beneath her palm. When Derek asked me to dinner, my first thought was not about whether I wanted to go. It was about what you would think. That is when I knew I was in too deep to pretend anymore. Vincent covered her hand with his own, pressing it firmly against his chest. I am sorry I interfered. That was wrong of me. You have every right to make your own choices about who you spend time with. I know, Olivia said with a small smile. And we need to establish that boundary now. If we do this, you cannot be possessive or controlling. I need you to trust me and respect my independence. I promise, Vincent said solemnly. I will work on that. My reaction today was out of line. Olivia took a deep breath, making her decision. Okay. Let us try this. But we need to be careful and smart about it. We should keep it private at first, at least until we know if this is real and lasting. A new beginning. Vincent's face broke into a genuine smile, the kind that transformed his usually serious expression into something warm and approachable. We can do that. We will be discreet. No one needs to know until we are ready. And we need to maintain professionalism at work, Olivia added. No special treatment, no favoritism. I want to succeed on my own merit. You already do, Vincent said softly. You are the best assistant I have ever had, and that has nothing to do with my feelings for you. Your work speaks for itself. For a moment, they simply stood there, hands clasped, looking at each other with new understanding. The weight of unspoken feelings had lifted, replaced by the excitement and nervousness of beginning something new. So what happens now? Olivia asked. Vincent smiled again, and this time there was a hint of mischief in his eyes. Now, I think we should actually review those Henderson files, since I used them as an excuse. And then, if you are free, perhaps we could have dinner together. Not as boss and assistant, but as two people who just admitted they care about each other. That sounds perfect, Olivia said, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. As they stood in his office, with the city glowing in the twilight beyond the windows, both of them felt the same thing, hope. Hope that this risk they were taking would be worth it. Hope that what they felt for each other was strong enough to overcome any obstacles. Hope that sometimes, the most unexpected love stories were the ones worth fighting for. Vincent Sterling and Olivia Mitchell had started as boss and employee, had become friends and colleagues, and were now embarking on something far more meaningful. They did not know what the future held, but they knew they would face it together. And for now, that was enough. The story of their love was just beginning, and both of them could not wait to see where it would lead.